Hey kids, it's time for our weekly devotional for the big idea. So last week we studied Abraham and how he left his home because God had called him to go to a place where he would lead him, and he trusted God and he followed him. So now tonight what we're going to do is we're going to learn about later on in the story. Abraham has a son named Isaac, and he marries a woman named Rebekah. And they have 2 children, and they're going to be the main focal points of our story tonight. Their names are Jacob and Esau. And this is exactly what Jacob and Esau looked like back then. I mean, I did an identical drawing of what they look like. Although they look like pieces of bread, this is exactly what they look like, okay? Anyway, so you've got the first kid, which is Jacob, and he has no hair because he was described in the Bible as having smooth skin, okay? And then Esau, poor Esau, he's described as being this kid with a lot of red hair. So what a description of you when you're born. He was red and really hairy, okay? But so this is Jacob and Esau. And so Jacob was smooth skinned. He liked to work close to home or close to the tents where they lived. And Esau was red and hairy, and he liked to work outside. He didn't mind getting dirty, sweaty, and all that stuff, okay? So here is the second picture. This picture, all you're doing here is you're drawing like a little oval, and you're kind of drawing a square at the bottom, and you're drawing S's for steam because the word steam starts with S, and so that helps you there. But this is basically a pot of stew. And why are we talking about a pot of stew? Well, one day Esau, when they're older, Esau is out hunting, and he comes back in, and he's super like hot and sweaty, and he's starving. And so he asks his brother Jacob for some of this stew, but Jacob, being the typical brother, says, "No, I'm not going to give it to you." And he finally says, "Okay, I'll give it to you if you give me your birthright." And so Esau gives his brother his birthright. Now what that means is when their father passes away, when he dies, he has a lot of land and things that he passes on to the oldest son, which in this case is Esau. But now he has to give it to Jacob because he tricked Esau into selling him his birthright. And so here's our next picture. This is number 3, and basically drawing 2 people. One who's a little more angry, and you give them some, like a V up here at the top and an upside down V or an A without the dash in the middle to show that they're angry, and this person is kind of shocked. And so what's happening here is that Isaac, who's the father, he's older and he's blind and he's about to pass away. He wants to give Esau his blessing. And so what happens though is that Jacob, with his mother's help, Rebekah, they trick Isaac, again, who's blind. So they prepare this meal that Isaac requested and give it to him. And Isaac gives not Esau, but he gives he gives Jacob the blessing. And so once again, Jacob tricks Esau. So he's tricked him into giving him his birthright, and now he's tricked their father into giving him this blessing. So Esau is a little upset. He's a little mad. And so what Jacob does next is number 4. He runs away. Okay? And so this is a rock. You just draw a big circle, and I don't know how to describe for you to draw this person that looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the Ghostbusters. If you've never seen that movie, ask your parents. If you don't, they've never seen it, ask Pastor Tim. He'll tell you all about it, okay? But this is Jacob. He's sleeping on a rock, and he's run away because he's worried that Esau is going to kill him. But what he does next is he sleeps. He takes a nap, which is what you should do when you're stressed, right? And he takes a nap, and he has this dream about this ladder that angels are going up and down this ladder. And so when Jacob wakes up, he's heard God speak to him and say, "Hey, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to help you." And so Jacob named this place Bethel, which actually means house of God. A lot of times when people, when they're named a certain name, the Bible will say what it means. And that's just another example here. A lot of churches are named Bethel, and that actually means house of God. And so that's what's going on here in these first 4 pictures of our story. All right, so this is our next set of drawings. So our 5th picture, you're going to draw 13 circles. So 13 people, and only one of them gets like pretty curly hair, like my daughter. Okay, so Jacob, now after he ran away, he began to live with his uncle. And long story short, he got married. He had 12 sons and 1 daughter. Okay, so after he had been gone for 20 years or more, God finally told him it was time to go home. Now he was really afraid, And so here's what he did next. So this is picture number 6 down here. This is a cow, okay? And so you draw he has a banana for a head apparently, okay? And then you draw his ears, and you do a big U, and then you do the stuff to fill in his face. So what Jacob did next is he sent people ahead to present Esau with all kinds of gifts and sacrifices, because he thought that this would help Esau remember that he loves him and that he's sorry for all the things that he did. So now he was afraid to go back home because he was worried Esau was going to kill him. And so here's what happened. Esau finally shows up, and 400 men come with him. Okay, and so Jacob was thinking, I'm gone. He's going to come and kill me. But he did something incredible. And this is what picture 7 says. You're just going to write the word kill. Don't just leave that word there, because if you write the word kill on a piece of paper and leave it in your house somewhere and your parents see it, they're going to be concerned. Okay, I would be too. But in the next picture underneath it, you're going to write that word again, and you're going to add a loop to the bottom of each, so that instead of saying kill, it says kiss. Because what happened here is that Esau was so surprised that Esau embraced Jacob. Okay, he hugged him and he kissed him, and he basically talked about how much he missed him and he loved him. So there's so many things that we can learn about this story. Here's the main thing, guys. Jacob and Esau, they wasted a lot of years fighting over things that didn't matter. They stopped being not just friends, but they stopped being brothers. And they didn't see each other. They didn't get to see each other's kids grow up together. All because they were fighting over silly, petty things. And God, finally, after 20 plus years, He brought them together, and He reminded them that they are brothers. Not just literally, but they're brothers in Him. They're a part of the family of God. And I just want to encourage you, don't worry about fighting over silly little things with your friends and with your siblings. Make sure that you do all that you can to get along with them and to treat them in a way that honors God. Make sure you send me your pictures that you did, and I look forward to seeing them.